Welcome to an extraordinary journey through one of the world's most fascinating countries. Morocco hides mysteries that challenge everything we think we know about this North African nation. Prepare to discover realities that will leave you speechless. Animals that climb trees to create luxury cosmetics. Collective weddings at nearly 2,000 meters altitude. Communities living by a calendar that projects them almost 1,000 years into the future. And traditions so deeply rooted they influence every aspect of daily life. This is the true soul of Morocco, one that rarely emerges in conventional tourist tales. Through 12 incredible revelations, we will explore together a world where ancient and modern intertwine in unexpected ways, where every gesture has deep meaning, and where social rules create a cultural fabric unique in the world. In the high peaks of the Moroccan Atlas, at nearly 2,000 meters altitude, one of the most extraordinary social events on the planet takes place. When summer gives way to the first September colds, the Imilchil Plateau transforms into a natural theater where 5,000 Berber people gather for what we could define as the world's largest collective matrimonial appointment. During this ancestral festival, Berber women, known as Amazigh, acquire a power of choice that challenges many Western stereotypes about North African countries. Wrapped in traditional hand-embroidered clothing, with faces covered by scarves that leave only their eyes uncovered, these women have absolute freedom to choose their future husband in front of thousands of witnesses. The rituals accompanying these marriages reveal beliefs deeply rooted in Berber spirituality. Before the bride reaches her husband's house, her mother applies henna to her feet, a protective gesture against malevolent influences. During transport to the new house, carried out strictly on a mule, a female relative has the specific task of lifting the bride and placing her on the matrimonial bed, ensuring her feet never touch the ground. According to Berber beliefs, this direct contact with earth could allow evil spirits to possess the young woman's body. In southwestern Morocco, in the regions of Essaouira and Agadir, a daily spectacle occurs that seems to defy the laws of nature. Entire herds of goats populating tree canopies like living fruits. This phenomenon isn't due to fear or fleeing from predators, but represents a feeding strategy evolved over millennia. Berber goats, small but incredibly agile and endowed with extraordinary balance, climb argan trees to reach oil-rich fruits growing over 9 meters high. These animals can move with acrobat-like grace on branches barely 10 centimeters wide, and it's not rare to see more than 10 goats simultaneously occupying a single tree. But this natural spectacle also has a fundamental economic aspect for local communities. Argan kernels, too hard to be digested by goats, are collected from animal droppings, washed, dried, and delivered to Berber women who work them with millennial traditional methods. To produce a single gallon of pure argan oil requires about 27 kilograms of fresh fruits and over 30 hours of manual labor. This laborious procedure explains why argan oil is considered liquid gold of Morocco, with prices oscillating between $300 and $400 per gallon on the international market. Morocco hosts some of the world's most chromatically distinctive cities, where every hue tells a millennial story of culture, spirituality, and regional identity. Chefchaouen, nestled among the Rif Mountains, is universally known as the Blue City. Every urban surface is painted in infinite shades of blue, creating an almost mystical atmosphere of serenity. Marrakesh, the Red City, owes its nickname to the characteristic red sandstone walls surrounding the historic Medina, creating a spectacular contrast with the green of open spaces. Fez stands out as the Golden City, where golden and yellow tones dominate the architecture of the country's oldest Medina. These colors symbolize prosperity, wealth, and joy, reflecting Fez's historic role as nerve center of commerce, learning, and Islamic culture. Casablanca represents Morocco's modern and cosmopolitan soul, characterized by lime-whitened buildings and an international atmosphere. While the world races toward payment digitalization and cashless economy, Morocco firmly maintains the principle that cash is king. This resistance isn't simple nostalgia, but reflects an economic structure deeply rooted in tradition and personal relationships. In traditional markets, in Fez's winding alleys or Marrakech's street food stalls, those without cash become practically invisible from a commercial perspective. Petit taxis operate exclusively with cash, often without meters, relying on direct negotiation between driver and passenger. According to Morocco's central bank, Only 18% of retail stores nationwide accept electronic payments, a percentage dropping below 10% in rural areas. In a country characterized by thousands of family-run shops and small traders, cash remains the true heartbeat of daily economic life. In a globalized world where the Gregorian calendar reigns unchallenged, there exists a community living according to a completely different temporal system, projecting them almost 1,000 years into the future compared to the rest of humanity. Morocco's Berbers follow the Amazigh calendar, a dating system beginning in 950 BC, the year Pharaoh Sheshonq-Fir, a Berber king, began his reign in ancient Egypt. According to this temporal computation, while the world lives in 2025, in Morocco it's 2975, creating one of the planet's most fascinating temporal discrepancies. During traditional celebrations, Berbers organize festivals with special foods, colorful clothing, and ancient spiritual rituals transmitted for millennia. The Amazigh community proudly declares not needing atomic clocks or satellites to measure time. They live following cycles of sun, earth, seasons, and rhythm of their personal universe. In Morocco's hottest cities like Marrakech, Fez, and Casablanca, when daytime temperatures exceed 40 degrees Celsius and brick walls accumulate heat like ovens, inhabitants don't rely on air conditioning, often absent in traditional homes. Instead, they climb back stairs of houses and transform roofs into open-air bedrooms. A survey conducted in Fez revealed that over 60% of traditional families still sleep on roofs during summer. Moroccan houses are designed with flat, wide roofs surrounded by high walls, creating perfect spaces for spreading carpets, arranging mattresses, hanging mosquito nets, and relaxing outdoors with the whole family. This tradition doesn't just represent a cooling strategy, but reflects Moroccan philosophy of integration with nature. In Islam, the night sky is considered the moment when the soul is closest to God, and sleeping under stars is interpreted as an act of humility and spiritual purity. One of the world's most expensive decorative woods, frequently used in Rolls-Royce, Mercedes, and BMW car interiors, doesn't come from Europe, the United States, or Japan, but grows exclusively in Morocco, at the foothills of Atlas Mountains. This precious wood is thuja, characterized by swirling grain patterns beautiful as paintings, wavy natural colors, and a distinctive delicate fragrance. Inside a Rolls-Royce Phantom, glossy thuja veneers can make passengers feel as if seated in a work of art. Thuja's peculiarity doesn't lie only in its beauty, but in its untamable nature. It cannot be artificially cultivated or mass-produced. It grows exclusively in semi-desert regions between 1,000 and 1,400 meters altitude, where days are scorching, nights freezing, and soil poor. 1 cubic meter can sell between $30,000 and $40,000. While in many cultures the heart symbolizes love, for Moroccans, especially Amazigh Berbers, the liver represents the symbol of deepest emotion. This organ is considered the center of life, strength, and courage, not only for its toxin-filtering function, but also as representative of loyalty and endurance toward the loved person. When a Moroccan says "Nta kbdi" in Moroccan Arabic or "Tsa inu" in Tamazight, they're not saying, "You're my heart," but "You're my liver." It's a unique, powerful, and deeply local expression deriving from ancient North African culture, where people believed the liver contained emotions, anger, passion, and nostalgia. A survey conducted at Mohammed V University discovered that over 80% of Moroccans between 30 and 60 years old still use liver to express deep love in daily life. A North African country predominantly desert with a population the size of California is becoming a clean energy powerhouse. Morocco is achieving this goal through the Noor solar plant in Ouarzazate, one of the most spectacular proofs of this transformation. Located at Sahara's margins, Noor isn't an ordinary plant, but a giant mirror in sand with millions of solar reflectors arranged in crescent shape covering over 3,000 hectares. At full power, Noor can provide electricity to over 1 million people using exclusively sunlight. Morocco aims for 52% of its electricity from renewable sources by 2030, a bold goal that even many G20 nations haven't dared set. The answer is a combination of political vision, intelligent international investments, and transformation of once merciless sun into a national resource. Fez represents the planet's most extensive pedestrian urban labyrinth, a place where maps are useless. GPS shows only empty screens, and every corner seems so similar to others that one isn't even sure of their own identity. With over 9,000 winding alleys, some so narrow that two people must squeeze to pass, they serpentine like cat intestines between centuries-old houses without signage, accurate maps, and absolutely no admitted vehicles. The only means of transport are donkeys, horse-drawn carts, or one's own feet. Some joke that in Fez you don't need Google Maps but a sixth sense and a bit of luck. According to UNESCO, Fez's old city was founded in the 9th century and houses Al Qarawiyyin University, the world's oldest continuously operating university. Taking casual street photos in Morocco isn't as harmless as it might seem. Photographing strangers without permission isn't just rudeness, but can, in some cases, lead straight to the police station. Moroccans, especially in rural areas or traditional markets, are extremely sensitive to cameras. If one accidentally points the camera toward police, soldiers, or government buildings, including royal palaces or checkpoints, prepare for consequences. According to Morocco's Interior Ministry, from 2019 to 2023, there were over 1,300 incidents involving tourists taking prohibited photos. How to avoid problems? Simple. If you want to photograph someone, just ask, "Excuse me, may I take your photo?" Not only does it show respect, but can also lead to an interesting conversation instead of discomfort. In many places, throwing away leftover bread after a meal is completely normal. But in Morocco, this could earn disapproving looks, or even be considered sacrilegious. For Moroccans, bread isn't just food, but a sacred symbol of faith, work, and divine blessing. As a Muslim country, Morocco doesn't completely ban alcohol, but many restaurants and hotels, especially those frequented by locals, don't serve any type of alcoholic beverage. Those who want to drink must go to places with special licenses, usually tourist zones for foreigners. The way one takes food could decide whether they get invited back to a Moroccan home. During traditional meals like tagine or couscous, Moroccans not only eat with their hands, but use exclusively 3 fingers of the right hand: thumb, index, and middle finger. In Islam and ancient Amazigh beliefs, these 3 fingers represent moderation, cleanliness, and gratitude for food from above. Using the whole hand is seen as greed, while using the left hand is considered impure, used for personal hygiene. According to Morocco World News, over 72% of Moroccans still eat with their hands on special occasions, and nearly 60% believe eating with wrong hand or fingers is an insult to the meal's spirit. From matrimonial traditions in Atlas Mountains to modern solar plants in Sahara, Morocco continues to surprise and challenge expectations. Every corner of this North African country hides stories interweaving past and present, spirituality and pragmatism, tradition and innovation. These 12 revelations represent only the surface of a very rich culture that has managed to preserve its identity while selectively embracing modernity. Morocco teaches us that cultural diversity isn't just a value to preserve, but an inexhaustible source of wisdom and beauty enriching global human experience. Next time you hear about Morocco, remember that behind every conventional tourist image hides a world of complexity, depth, and authenticity, waiting to be discovered by those brave enough to look beyond the surface.